And we are back with my little stuff. Here we go. As a former Wayne County judge, I put on for my city. East side, south side, north side, west side too. Now let me come and bring my skill and talent and work for you. Criminal appeals, divorce, auto accidents, probate, and more. We do everything. That's what we do. Give us a call today so we can come and work for you. 1833 Vonda Law. I put on for my city. Now let me come and work for you. I'm back. This is Vonda Evans, your former Wayne County judge of 22 years. Times are tight financially, and it can be costly to get a good attorney. You deserve an experienced attorney who offers reasonable rates and low monthly payments to fight for you. If you've been charged with a crime, want a divorce, or need help with probate, call us today. Denied insurance or seriously injured in a car accident? You don't pay unless we win. Vonda's Law, experienced attorneys, affordable justice. I want to say and give a shout out to my girl, Allison Vaughn, on your new engagement. She's a beautiful woman. I follow her, and I just want to give her a shout out to say congratulations, lady. What's up, Jackie? I ain't seen you in forever. Are you still doing your thing, serving our community? With the auxiliary police. Yeah, she got engaged. Hey, boo, what's up? I miss y'all. It's so unfortunate, that after that COVID, it kind of threw me for a loop, but it's so good to see y'all. You still serving, doing a phenomenal job. I'm telling you, a phenomenal job. This woman is an asset to the DPD community, and it's a blessing that we're able to have her with us. And it's a blessing, and I'm so excited about that, really, because we need to be able to have people who are understand their role as law enforcement and understand the role of the common citizen as well. And Jacqueline Meadows is able to balance that. We're back on the air, and I just want to shout out Allison Vaughn, who just recently got engaged, and she is just so beautiful. And I know that you all are going to be very, very happy. But like I said, I'm with understanding things here in the United States. I got all that. But my fear is, I was like, I'm gonna find it. Honestly, I think it was way before. Well, I was in the studio at that point. I was in studio at 9:10, talking about this bird flu. Like, oh, that's and I'm gonna be honest, that's for third world countries. There's no way. We're too civilized. Our stuff is too together for us to ever get some COVID or whatever they were talking about. You see what happened? Stranger things have happened. My point is, we need the media to give equal time to things that could change the way that we live. Like, we could really be messed up out here, because then you'll have investors who don't have loyalty to the United States. They loyal to that almighty dollar. And whoever can give them a better interest rate and accessibility. Think about this. I'm a billionaire, and I go put my money with their currency, and they're able to issue me a credit card. The government don't know how much money I'm making. I can't be taxed on that money. I get to utilize $1 billion and access to it without any. If I want to transfer somebody amount over 10,000, guess what? It's not subject to regulation. I don't have to do a 1099 or form. I don't have to do none of that. I can do what I want. I can buy houses. I can do whatever I want. I can money launder all day long. Why? Because there's no regulation of this money. That's why it's dangerous. So you a Colombian drug lord. Oh, I got one better. You you got a dispensary. You can't put your money in the bank. So what do? You find out that, hey, it's a world currency. And they give you a little credit card. And you can put your money right over there. And you can have access to it while it's building interest. And you don't think that that should have been on the news? You don't think that we should be hearing about that? We ain't heard about that. Nothing about that on CNN. All we heard was that the leader of the Communist Party had to be escorted out of the meeting because he started shaking. Who gives a damn? What was the topic that they were talking about? That you had all of these people attending at this communist conference. Who were those Chinese conference? What was on their agenda? To me, that should have been given equal weight, because you now will have a form of currency that is going to be attractive to people who can't put money in the banks. And we already know. Okay, let me tell you something. It used to be bad with cocaine and heroin. That was bad. Did you hear the other day, 2 days ago, someone was stopped with 12,000 pills of fentanyl in Skittles bags? Okay? So where are these people, these drug lords? Where are they going to put their money? They can't put it in the bank because there are regulations. You put it somewhere that is not regulated, but it's backed by gold. And it's not subject to the same constraints that the United States economy is with banking. And we think that's what's going on over here with Adidas and Kanye something. You wait till that dollar falls. And it's going to destroy us. Because you think we know inflation now? Baby. You let China say, we're not sending Taiwan, y'all not sending no more than little semiconductors over there. It will paralyze the United States. But we're not talking about that. But when it happened, oh my God, what we gonna do? Well, I think we need to plan for it. And I think that what we need to be able to do is figure out, because they're not going away. These are people who can live off a bowl, a small amount of food. The Russians, they take soup bowls. But the ruble is coming back. They can live off of very little. China as well. They don't need, and they're people who are resilient. And so you take resilient people who can live off a little, and they hate the United States, and they hate democracy, you got a problem. But you don't think it's, they ain't gonna bother me, because I gotta be going on my trips. We better stay woke, because this is very serious. But, when we talking about who having sex with them, and they doing this, and they doing, oh, baby, we like that. Entertainment is beautiful. It takes your mind off of real life things. But you got to know about what else going on. Because see, COVID, it knocked us out. Because we didn't never think that could happen to us. You don't think that people think that anything could ever happen to the United States? Baby, the dollar is the truth. Okay. Y'all gonna say, you know what? I remember she was talking old crackpot stuff on Saturday, talking about this, and look up, and we're gonna be in a world of trouble. Because this is where it's going. You got your boy Elon Musk. Elon Musk got his own line of currency. They gotta be backed by something. World Bank, World Bank. So what I do is I take all of these little currencies, Bitcoin, Elon Musk, different little things, and we bring them all together and we back them by the World Bank, and it will destroy the economy of the United States like never before. We got to stay woke. We need to be able to like say, okay, if that's what y'all doing, then what we need to be doing, we need to be making sure that we have factories that are going to mass produce those little semiconductor things. And we got to be able to make sure that we start taking care of ourselves, the American citizens, and stop worrying about what everybody else is doing. Because, baby, let me tell you something. They coming. They coming. And we need to get prepared. They coming. And they not going to blow us up. See, you can destroy a country by destroying the economy. That economy get messed up, baby. I ain't lifted a finger. And then you know what's going to happen? We're going to be talking about how bad stuff is. And guess what? We're going to want to revolt against who? Our elected officials. And it's all going to be because we're not paying attention. We need to stay woke, understand what's going on, and try to be about that life. Try to make sure that we can be able to shore up what we got. Make sure that we can go to other countries and say, well, look, if they're trying to do this with this World Bank, what y'all think about coming together? I know we ain't never done nothing like this before, but what you think about it? You think I can count on you, Britain? You think, okay, and have two forms of currency, but the United States, we so prideful, we would never think to do that. Because I'd rather go up in smoke. Forget that pride. Because here are two strong countries, China and Russia, coming together with a currency. That's serious. And we by ourselves. Because see, what we think is what we used to do. Baby, how many of y'all know y'all aunties and grandma? Back in the day, girl, you can barely walk to the bathroom. Talking about back in the day, I was walking to school 10 miles a day. Baby, guess what? That day gone. And that's where we are. We always want to ride on what we did yesterday. We got to look over there and see. And we're not. And that is why we're going to need somebody, a leadership that is going to be able to be a little bit more awake and be more strategic. Because United States, we got some problems. And I don't think that people realize that. And we're reactionary. I understand that there are legitimate social issues out here that should be recognized. I got it. But we need to come together, because if we don't, you think that COVID got us? You let this economy fall. You let that dollar be fall. So you talking about inflation now? You talking about $3.50 gas now? Try $7 or $8. Because those people, the communist countries, they'll do it out. They'll suffer. That to them, suffering is part of their commitment to their country. So they'll suffer. Let you have to pay $7 for some gas. Let you gotta take your chairs and cut them up and heat your house. You're gonna be some kind of mad. Because I know I'm gonna be some kind of mad. Because we ain't never lived like that. Those people have. And so if they got a break, it was fine. But this ain't something that they don't know. And they loyal to their country. Because if they weren't, them oligarchs would be cutting ranks. They ain't cutting ranks with them people. They're like, okay. It's like, you remember when y'all used to be outside playing and your mama hit the light to come in, the street light. You be like, damn, I don't want to come in. But you knew when you seen that porch light, you knew you had to come on home. Well, Putin cut that light on. Like, come on, it's time to come on home. Now, y'all, okay? So if they seize y'all stuff, let them have it. We on something whole different. We ain't worrying about the yachts we used to have. We on something whole different. We gonna get y'all some money back. Don't worry about that. And that's just the game. And we need to be aware of that. And no major newspaper outlet has covered this. Nobody. Why? Why? Don't you think that that's something that you would want to know? It's damn sure something I want to know, because the last I checked, I lost $70,000 in my 401k. And guess what? Mess around, it'd be $5 in there. $5 waiting for the economy to turn around. And you got Russia dumping all of this money, billions, into the Chinese economy. And we ain't concerned. We not worried about that. Okay. All right. Y'all remember that? Okay. Because that's how you destroy somebody. You cut their money off. That's how you get them. Mark my word. We are in for a rude awakening, and we need to stay woke, find out what they doing, and we need to have us a backup plan. And we need to be able to come together with the NATO nations and say, listen, hey, we're going to have to do a little something too. We're going to put something in place. But our pride won't let us, because we rather suffer than to compromise. But you got China and Russia coming together to make money, to make a form of currency. But we won't do that with other countries, because in our mind, we the greatest of all times. Baby, we sleeping. We sleep in the reality of what may be going on. And we'll be back.
Everything in my life.
So anyway, what I want to do is just talk about on these breaks different things about the law, etc. So one of the things that I want to tell you is that many times, as it's now getting warmer, people will think, well, if I open carry, so you get your rights restored, what happens? Well, you can hire a lawyer and you go before the circuit court, in which you live. And when you go before the circuit court in which you live, the judge can restore your rights. So when your rights are restored, you can now open carry. You can be around other people. You can go to the gun range. You can be around, you can have guns in your home. The problem is that many times when people are open carrying, say for instance, you have the gun and it's completely visible. It has to all be visible. You run, you got, it's all visible, right? And you got it right on your side. Everybody can see. The minute you lean over your car to get in, because you forget you got your weapon, at that point it becomes a felony. You cannot open carry a gun in a car. You cannot be in a car. The proper thing to do if you open carry is to take your weapon off before you open the door, dismantle it, put it in a box, break it down, put it in the trunk, okay, and get in the car. I can't tell you the number of people who have been arrested because they're like, I forgot to break my gun down. Because they think that the minute they get out of the vehicle, they have when you're in the air, going to the store, I leave my house and I walk to um, my mailbox. I got the right to open carry. I walk down on Southfield Road. I got the right to open carry. I walk to the gas station. I got the right to open carry. But the minute someone sees me walking and says, hey, Vonda, you want to ride? It's kind of cold. I get in that vehicle. Now I have committed a felony, because you cannot open carry a weapon on your side in a vehicle. Oh, I got one. It's not on my side. So you take your phone, you take your gun, this your gun, and you put it in a purse. I'm gonna put it in a purse right quick. That's a felony. It cannot be in a purse. It has to be in a box designed for transportation, placed in the trunk of your vehicle. And if it's not, you can be charged with a felony. And if you've been a convicted felon, you can also be charged as well with felony firearm. We're back. So those are some things that people need to know. And as I said before, and I'll continue it, right now with this open carry, it's the most dangerous law that I have seen. Why? Because you're moving so fast. There's certain requirements that you have to have. It has to be when you're in a vehicle, if you get into a car, you have to break down your gun and you have to put it in a box that's designed for storing. And the ammunition has to be separated from the gun and it has to be in the trunk. If you're running fast, say you just, you got to get some gas and then you do it and you forget about it. How many times do you forget? And you jump in a car, boom, that's a felony. You got to be very careful with this open carry. And the reason why it's very restrictive, if a person has a CPL, they can have a gun on them and they can get in a vehicle. You cannot do that if you open carry. There's certain restrictions. And so you have to be aware of these restrictions. But more importantly, if you have been a convicted felon, you can't just be out here at no gun range, okay? It doesn't restore your right. What if you've been convicted of a federal crime? If you've been convicted of a federal crime, the only way that you can ever be able to get a CPL is you have to have a pardon by the President of the United States. They state the clean slate does not apply to federal crimes. It only applies to state crimes, specifically Michigan state crimes. It doesn't. So if you have been convicted of a federal crime, you can never get your CPL because the only way that you can get that set aside is by the President of the United States. That's just the way things are. And so I don't want y'all out here being silly, okay, and getting in trouble. Recently, I had talked to a couple lawyers that affiliate with my firm. You ready? 85% of the people at the DDC, Detroit Detention Center, are there for gun cases. That's a lot. And it's because it's my belief that many people do not know how to properly open carry a gun. They just don't know. You can look at the statute, it'll tell you, but they do not know. As a result, you can have been convicted, as I said before, of a felony 20 years ago. If you do not get your rights restored, you can't be around a gun. You can't be in a car with somebody that has a CPL. Why? Because possession does not mean like I'm holding this phone. Possession means the right to access it. So if I'm riding a car and my friend has a gun in her purse, I have the right to possess that because the gun is in the purse and conceivably I could just reach over and touch the gun and possess the gun. So therefore, if you are a convicted felon, you can't be around guns, period, even if it's been 20 or 30 years. The number one question people always ask me is, will it automatically fall off? No, felonies do not fall off. It could be 30 years ago. They do not fall off. Okay. And so what you have to be mindful, well, what about the automatic expungements? That still hasn't gone into effect. Right now, if you are a person that's trying to get an expungement and you apply today, it's going to take between 18 months to 2 years in order to process it. Why? Because you only have, I believe it's 10 or 15 people who actually work for the uh, attorney general that's processing them. How many do they get a day? Probably on an average of 3 to 5,000 requests per day. So if you got 10 people and somebody's out or sick, you're gonna have to wait. And the process for an expungement is very simple. If you have been convicted of 3 felonies, okay, depending on the type of felonies, normally they're non-assaultive, you are eligible to get an expungement. What is an expungement? It's just an eraser. It's a sealed record. So once you get your record expunged, you can say, I've never been convicted of a crime. It's sealed, okay? So what you do is you get your fingerprints, and you normally it's best to get a lawyer to petition to the court. Are there's some offenses that are assaultive that you can have expunged? Absolutely. But if you do, you have to show that it is in the interest of justice that your record is sealed. That's why I say get a lawyer. So once you submit that to the court, then the court processes it. Well, hell, that's taking 8 or 9 months. Then once they do that, they send it to the state police where they give you a police clearance. Okay, that's taking another 4 or 5 months. Then it's sent to the attorney general where they do a records check to make sure that you have not been convicted of any other felonies or you don't know. And then they give a letter. That letter is then sent to the judge that you got the conviction before. And at that point, they grant or deny your expungement. Can an expungement be denied? Yes, it can. If there are certain type of assaultive offenses that you have, the court has to find that it is in the interest of justice to have your record sealed. If you are denied an expungement, you have to wait three to 5 years. I think it's 3, but I'll double check. Well, a certain length of time before you can petition the court again. So that's why if you're thinking about getting an expungement, and we've been talking about this, you get what you pay for. It's best to have a lawyer that can be able to guide you during this time so that you can be able to fully understand what it is that needs to be done. Is an expungement an investment? Yeah. You can't even be around a person who has a CPL. And I know many of you all may have had convictions in your earlier years. You riding around with people who got a CPL, and if stopped, you can be arrested for felon in possession of a firearm and felony firearm. Felon in possession of firearm is a 5 year, felony firearm is 2 years. You can be arrested every time you get in a car with your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband, and they got a CPL and you've been convicted of a felony. Let me tell you something. You can go to prison for a mandatory 2 years. It's called felony firearm. And people keep taking that risk because I don't want to pay for no expungement. But you turn around and pay $2,500 for some cardies, but you won't pay $2,500 to get your record restored so that when you're riding around with your boo or your loved one, you can. What if I'm ineligible for an expungement? Can I still have my gun rights restored? Absolutely. Your gun rights, if they have been Michigan convictions, can be restored if you have more than 3 felonies or a class of felony potentially that the statute prevents. You have to have a hearing, and before that hearing, you have to be able to show to the court that it would be in the interest of justice that is granted, and you definitely. So that's called restoration of gun rights. How long does it take to restore your gun rights? 3 to 6 months. How long is it taking for an actual expungement? Between 18 to 24 months. So many times, if people want to be around people who have guns, your boo, your loved one, etc., it would behoove you to get your gun rights restored so that you can actually be around those individuals and not put yourself in a position where you, in fact, could be potentially charged with a crime. Because right now, let me just tell y'all so you will know, the more people are arrested, the more overtime police officers get. Right now, it's about to be Christmas, and they ain't got no separate gas rate or food rate for the police. So the police are motivated more than ever to get out here and stop cars and arrest people for having guns in their car when they're not supposed to. They're very, very motivated. And you should know this information. And for those of you who got children who riding around, they need to know this information because it can help prevent them from potentially getting a conviction for a felony or going to prison. We'll be back. Law. And for 22 years as a former Wayne County judge, I put on for my city. East side, south side, north side, west side too. Now let me come and bring my skill and talent and work for you. Criminal appeals, divorce, auto accidents, probate, and more. We do everything. That's what we do. Give us a call today so we can come and work for you. 1833 Vonda Law. I put on for my city. Now let me come and work for you. You know, I had the most fun making that commercial. And I'm going to tell you why. My heart, no matter where I live, what I do, will always be with this city. It was such an honor to be able to live and work in this city. I love Detroit. Listen, I was on Cardone, I was on Linwood, I was off of Jefferson. I can listen, it was so much fun. Of all the commercials that I've done, that was by far the one. I loved it. It took us forever to do, okay, because we had to stop different places. And I don't know if you saw some of them, I had my glasses on, some I didn't, but it was so much fun just seeing people. They would come out, hey, Vonda. You know, I always said I'm going to end up changing my name to Judge, my first name from Vonda to Judge, because that's what people call me. But it was so wonderful just seeing the people come out, and it just really was an opportunity, a wonderful time to serve. You know, people always ask me, do you miss being a judge? Well, you know what? There is a time and a season for everything. You know, for those of you all who have retired, you may have loved your job, but, you know, it gets to a point where you got to be able to look out for yourself, for your health, etc. Let younger people come in here and do something. You know, one of my biggest pet peeves is that old people want to hold on to power forever. There are young people who are 30, 40 years old that want an opportunity to serve, that have the skills to do it. But we want to hold on to the power because we want somebody to say our name. We want you to be able to say, well, I do this, and I'm the judge, and I'm this, and I'm that. Let these young people get an opportunity to serve. Let them be able to bring their own brand of justice. Let them be able to, you know, read these briefs. Let them be able to be the governor, the mayor, the city council. Why is it that we believe somehow that the older we get, the more knowledge that we get? Yeah, but the more tired we become, maybe the more stuck in our ways we are. We need to be able to celebrate, in my opinion, young people so that they can have these positions. Let me say this to you. People say, well, you know, your your brand of justice is different, you know what I'm saying, than many people. Absolutely, granted, it was. You know, I was a judge for a different time, okay? Does that mean that there are not going to be more judges out here going to do better than I am? Yes, I believe that they will. But it's time for us as a community to stop always saying, "Oh, you too young, you not ready." I used to hear that all the time. Well, when the hell they gonna get ready? When they 100 years old? Hey, boo, what's up, Lance? Stop holding on to power. Stop letting it define you. You got to be able to have a life outside. And that is one of the one things that I'm so grateful that I had children. But you know what? I'm grateful that I had an opportunity to do social media, to be able to see and to give my opinion on the law, to be able to give my opinion on relationships, to give my opinion on the law, so that what we can be able to do is to challenge ourselves to think beyond our situation. Like I said, you know me, I love talking about a relationship, I'm in it. But when I saw that Russia and China talking about getting some currency, I'm like, oh, hey, I got to talk about this. We're not talking about that. Is it alarming to me? Absolutely. But is it interesting? Hell no. Ain't nobody think, no, it's not interesting. It's not. But we can't always talk about things as fun. You understand what I'm saying? Because if we don't, we're not preparing ourselves. You understand what I'm saying? There's people plotting against the United States right now, and we sitting there talking, I'll be glad when she be talking about some dating. It's a time and a place for all that. That dating don't matter if you ain't living in no damn bunker. You ain't thinking about no damn dating in, okay? You think about how you gonna survive. And my point being to you, we need to be more aware of what's going on around the world. We need to have the media be responsible for telling us, well, what they doing? What's going on? We need to do that. There was insufficient coverage on COVID when it was in Wuhan. It was you had to find about that. But baby, when it started killing Americans and it started coming over here, you could find out about COVID. They had a little chart about all the people that was dying of COVID, okay? Why be reactionary? Let's be preventative. Let's try to figure this stuff out now, because before it get too late. You know what I'm saying? But I'm all into, talking about dating and the man cheating and why men cheat because they greedy and this and that. I'm for all of that. Let's give it, okay? But at the end of the day, when we saw how the Ukrainian people were displaced, they was living like us. They was driving cars, Mercedes, everything. Now look how they living. And they didn't think that could happen to them. Lo and behold, baby, wake up. You don't know. And you have to prepare for that. You just can't always live under a rock. Think about them Ukrainian people. They were just, watching TV and, in the bed having their little coffee and tea. All of a sudden, they getting bombed. They in the gas station for 15 or 20 hours to get some gas. The life that they knew had changed. It's over with. We saw the destruction with them dropping the bombs. What's going to happen if China and Russia, with this world coin that they're trying to do, or with this currency, crypto, what's going to happen to us? It's going to be far worse. You don't have to see destruction. We good. Ain't nobody going to come over here and bomb us like that. We good on that. But can they destroy us through messing up this economy? Hell yeah. We got to stay woke, folks. We got to stay woke. And we got to learn how to be loyal as Americans. I am so sick of Americans being divided. Let me ask you a question. You think if Russia and China over there, they having their little summits, right? And they talking about this world currency. You know what they over there doing? Damn, them Americans at it again. What's up? Over there arguing over something. Don't realize what we doing. They're such silly, vain people. But it's time for us to understand they planning something for us. We got to wake up and we got to come together. And we ain't got time for all of this petty bickering, okay? Because see, let me say this to you. When this economy, if they get that little currency up and rolling, it's going to affect black, white, Jewish, Hispanic, male, female. Ain't nobody gonna be exempt. So we gotta come together because they planning something. And they've been doing it since September, dumping millions. Anytime you're saying that Chinese people are able to use the ruble as well as the yen, baby, they come together. And we don't have time to be divided. We don't have that time. We don't have time to argue. We are Americans. We got our problems, but we are Americans. And when we are targeted, we all suffer. And we got to stop all of this arguing between us. I'm not saying it's pet. I'm saying there are bigger situations. Like our economy potentially one day can be destroyed. And it's going to apply to all of us. They ain't going to say, oh, you black. Okay, we're going to give you. Listen, we see it now. I went to the grocery store the other day. Pretzels was $1.25, no name pretzels. 4 months ago, they $2.50. We see it now. They're not saying because you black, you're going to get a discount. Oh, you're white, you're going to get a discount. Oh, you're Jewish American, you're going to get that. Don't work. That's the price for everybody. And until we realize this, when people got COVID, it didn't discriminate. It didn't say, okay, only poor people gonna die. Oh, only rich people. We all were suffering. And we all came together. We weren't worried about no black, white, Jewish, we were Asian. We weren't worried about that. We were trying to survive. And there brings a resilience. Tragedy brings a resilience. And it's unfortunate that we have to wait till tragedy occurs for us to realize we are Americans. It's like kids. If you got children, they're going to argue. But they're still your children. And we still Americans. And we got to understand the way that we live in could be changed. Think about them people in Ukraine. This time last year, baby, they was driving Benzes, Rolls Royces, wearing minks, furs, everything. Think about how they living now. They never thought that could occur. But Russia was planning the whole time. They knew what they were going to do. And we don't understand that. They can't do that to us. We got to be more aware. And we got to be able to think about the greater good. And that is being Americans. Because as long as we divide ourselves and argue about different things, you know what that shows other countries? Our weakness. It doesn't show our strength. It shows that we're weak. And they're like, oh my goodness, they're over there arguing about these things. And we are trying to get a system that is going to cripple the un-Americans. This is going to cripple them. And they don't even see. Because we're not woke. And so I think, if anything, my challenge, let's stay aware of what's going on. And let's try to come together as Americans, as people. Because all of this bickering back and forth, man, you know what I'm saying? We got to be able to see the bigger picture. And I would hope that we are resilient. They can't even keep a prime minister in Britain because the economy is so messed up. And here you got these people that hate us, that hate democratic countries, hate us, planning to have a unified economy. And we ain't paying no attention. We ain't even listening. Not at all. That to me is very troubling. Very, very troubling. Because we have this complex this superiority complex, it can never happen to me. Now, that might happen to other people, but that can't happen to me. And when it does, it's devastating because somehow we thought we were better than that. Well, I got a degree. That could never, me, I don't know, absolutely not. That could happen to you, but that can't happen to me. And baby, when it does, it's an eye opener. It will destroy your thought, your self concept of life. And we all are seeing it. And when I tell you this is just the beginning, this is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. We think, oh, our economy is going to go back to the way it is. Okay. Well, we'll see. I hope it does because I sure would like to get some of my money back. But I look at those Ukrainian people and I think to myself, I hope that doesn't happen to us. Because if it does, we are going to be messed up big time. We'll be back. Are you so excited? Vonda's Law. And for 22 years as a former Wayne County judge, I put on for my city. East Side, South Side, North Side, West Side too. Now let me come and bring my skill and talent and work for you. Criminal appeals, divorce, auto accidents, probate, and more. We do everything. That's what we do. Give us a call today so we can come and work for you. 1-833 Vonda Law. I put on for my city. Now let me come and work for you. Baby, let me tell you something. I must have done that a year ago. And when I did that a year ago, listen, I couldn't get that weight off of me. But then when I started walking and exercising, and then I was going to New York every week doing the show with Court Night Live, let me tell you something. That stress make you eat away some fat, baby. Let me tell you something. That stress will make you, at least for me, it will. And I do not advocate the stress diet because the stress diet is not a good diet. But let me tell you this. I lost some weight, but I didn't think I was ever going to get that weight off of me. But I tell you, I did. But when I see pictures of myself looking like that, I'm like, wow. But you know what? It's all good. The main thing is that we're, it's healthy. But baby, I see my little fat face and looking like a little chubby. I looking like a little chubby girl. I was looking like a little chubby girl. But anyway, a very good friend, Jason Flowers, my baby, said, listen, you don't have to go off. What you do is when they're on the air, 9:10 is, then you can just basically talk to your audience. So this is my first week doing it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have different legal topics that I'm able to share. Give y'all some free legal, you know what I'm saying? So that you'll know. And what you can do is if there are topics that you want, like you might want to ask me, something about custody or something about criminal law or something like that. I want to be able to do it in between these little segments so I can be able to drop some little knowledge on y'all so that you can govern yourselves according. But basically, and I'm for real about that gun, that is what is most telling. You got to be careful with that open carry. That open carry is getting more people in trouble because what is the first thing that the police officers say? Is there a gun in this car? What do people think? If I cooperate with the police and I don't lie to them, guess what? They'll go easy on me. No, they're not. Many times officers will profile cars. What do I mean by profile? Well, it's what it suggests. It may be it's a fancy car. Maybe it's a younger person driving. Maybe you smell weed out the car. These are reasons that they'll get behind you, believe that there's a gun in the car. First thing, is there a gun in the car? You say, yeah, you done admitted it. You a convicted felon and you improperly open carry, you went to jail. So anyway, we're back on. So I was, so anyway, so these are things that, we definitely want to deal with. Obviously, tonight on Single and Satisfied I did talk about my very serious stuff. You know what? I want to talk about I have been doing some research, and basically it was dealing with why men cheat and why women spy. And so I want to talk about those issues. Obviously, it has to do with trust, but why men believe that they cheat and why women believe that they have to spy. When it comes down to it, if you don't trust a person, don't waste my time. If it's something about me that you want to catch, just ask me. But if you're in a relationship with someone who is unwilling to tell you and you try to catch them, you destroy the relationship anyway. But see, I'm gonna catch him with another woman. Why? If you suspect that he cheating, why not just leave? If you suspect your woman cheating, why not just go? Why put yourself in a position of turmoil that you don't need? Because I got to know for myself because I need clothes. You don't. You grown. If you think every time your man or your woman leave, they going to be with somebody, that's something, baby, that relationship been over because you don't trust them. And no one wants to be in a relationship or a situation where they're not trusted. That man or that woman, whether they doing or not, don't nobody want to be in a situation like that. Why keep doing that? Time and time again, I see, especially women, I'm going to catch him and it's going to do what? As my father said, and I'm going to keep it 100, you can't miss what you can't measure. And what you're going to do is you're going to push that man or that woman to somebody else because times are too hard to be dealing with BS from somebody that you call yourself loving. If the minute I hit that door in the safety of my home and I got to hear somebody argue with me, asking me where I be and what I'm doing, I'm going to turn around and go right out that door and I'm not coming back. And I'm not going to deal with that because you're too old to not have peace. But what amazes me, and I understand this because I was once a younger woman, that somehow there's validation in catching somebody cheating. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? You only destroying what you got because the person on the other side of that phone, that's just where they are on the other side of that phone across town. Here's a situation. You getting follow along 90% and you worried about somebody getting 10%. You getting all the steak. Well, what you doing with the rest of the fat and the bone? What difference do it make? For real. But we get consumed. And what begins to happen, that person can't take it anymore. They love you. They want to be with you, but they just can't take it. Then you break up and you out here with no man, with no woman, broke, sad. And you know what you always say? I wish I didn't check. I wish I could have kept my family intact because that's the biggest thing. People, it's like anything else. The other day, today, I have not had peanut butter and jelly. I had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Okay, but I'm not going to eat it every day. But it was something I wanted to try. We give too much emphasis on sex. Oh my God, it's like blood. Blood you need to nourish the body. Sex is not that important, but we give it too much weight in a relationship. It's a part of a relationship. And the older you get, it's a less of a part. But what we got to be able to do is understand if you ain't trusting somebody, you ain't got to catch them. Leave because you already gone. So listen, I'll be doing I think singles as probably around 9:30 or 10 o'clock. So my topic tonight is why men believe that they have to cheat and why women believe that they have to spy. So we'll be on tonight. I hope that you learned something from this about this economy. Keep your eyes open. Anything you hear, let me know. And thank you so much for tuning in. And until next week, we'll do it again. Mask up and be safe. We'll see you soon. Bye bye. Be blessed.